Good morning. Well, I'm waiting here. I've got to go get my daughter in just a couple minutes. We are working cattle today, and it's November 20th, I think. It's about 20 degrees outside. It's going to be a cold day working cows. It's going to depend. Got a bunch of yahoos out there that are going to help us push them through, and that can always be a fun thing. I'll probably be given shots of some sort. And then dinner is cooked, and we're just having a big stew. I see dogs in the background. Um, my videos, Lord, girl, look at me. I'm a mess. And I don't have lighting right. And if I move into my proper position, then the sun's coming through the window and it's really bright, and et cetera, et cetera. I just had a couple things that I was thinking about this morning. My daughter is one of them. My husband and his family have a hard time respecting women. Really, just seem to have a hard time doing it. They are like bachelor men who've been bachelors forever, and women are like some subspecies or foreign species or something. They like women, but they don't know how to treat them. They don't know how to treat a woman or a dog. And that's the truth. That is the truth. They don't show respect. And my husband is a loving, kind, wonderful person. He doesn't mean to be this way. He listens to me. And now that we have a teenage daughter growing up and starting to date, and I've harped on him and harped on him and harped on him for her whole life. You have to show her mother respect. You have to. She's going to grow up and go out there and find some guy who doesn't respect her, who is not as good a man as you are, because as good a man as he is really hard to find. And she's going to find some jerk that doesn't respect her, who mistreats her, and anybody. I mean, they're all going to mistreat her. She's my little goddess. She's everything to me. She doesn't know that, and she doesn't act like that, but she is. And his inability to show me respect in front of her, mainly, is what I'm worried about. I'm worried it's going to be a problem. So guys, you need to step it up. Step it up. When your wife starts complaining and bitching and having a hard time in front of you, stop for 1 second in front of your kids and really, really listen to her and say, honey, I'm sorry it's like this for you. I support you. I love you. I believe in you. And is there something I can do to make it better? Even if you don't agree with what she is going on about, it's still the way she feels. And if it's the way she feels, you should be interested in that if you love her. The other thing that my husband does, he cannot seriously love. It's got to be a joke. So every time he grabs the kids, he's like, hey, you, and he's playing around with them and he's joking, which that's fine. It's a lot of fun and they laugh. But I notice that between them, they have a phony relationship. Between me and my kids, it's not phony. It's definitely not phony. It's maybe not the best relationship at times, right? It was, but teenagehood has taken over, and my daughter suddenly thinks that I'm a green-eyed monster. But I told him, you know what she needs from you? She needs you to take her in your arms, and she needs you to tell her, I love you. You're the most beautiful thing in the world to me. And nobody's going to be good enough for you. I adore you. You're my sweetheart. It's scary for daddy for you to be dating and things like that. But I got your back, girl. And I'm here. And my love will never go away. Something, because if he doesn't do that, I mean, she's going to survive. She is going to survive. But I think that we create things. We create things. We create personality disorders amongst our children. I know. I know from personal experience. I know nobody's going to believe this, but my son had ODD, and which is oppositional defiance disorder. I had no idea what was wrong with my son. I just knew something was terribly wrong. He smashed everything, everything. His room was completely bare. I bought him thousands of dollars worth of toys. He'd have a toy for 3 days and it would be just pieces. He broke windows. He did everything you can imagine. He's a country boy. He shot up the van and he blew the tires out and he blew stuff up with I don't know, some kind of explosive powder, and he did things that were I just couldn't stay on top of it. I was like, oh my gosh, my house was destroyed. My furniture was carved with knives and hatchets, and trees were chopped down in the yard. And I'm telling you what, this kid, and he was 8 years old, and he was unhappy and he was hard to deal with, and he was just, wow. And so I took him in and had a psychological examination done on him. It took 3 days, and by a very qualified psychologist. And she came back and she said, he has ODD. So that scared me. I have to cough. Excuse me. That scared me. That's terrible. I'm sorry. So I went and I looked up ODD, and I said, what is it? And I found out that like 80% of people in prison have ODD, oppositional defiance disorder. They know that it comes from parents who do not co-parent. Huh, who knew? Who knew that something like that could exist? I didn't. And I'm like, wait a minute. It's the parents' fault. This bad personality disorder is being caused by us. And I was shocked. And I said, well, what do you mean? Well, how did we do it? Well, it's a lack of co-parenting. And I thought about it, and I thought, there were ever two parents who do not co-parent. It's Andy and I. And so he's gone all the time, and I was taking care of the kids and taking care of my parents and everything else, and I'd have a system and a routine down and a schedule, and I'd be working it, and Dad would come home and he'd want to do it, and I'm like, no, that doesn't work, and we can't do it this way. And I'm diaper training them or potty training them this way, and I'm feeding them this, and I'm doing that, and and he was just more of a bother and more of a mess than he was a helper. And so I kept him at arm's length, and he stayed at arm's length. And Dad was gone 3 weeks at a time. It isn't like my husband was gone every day working. At one point, he was gone 6 weeks. He builds roads, and he was gone doing a heavy highway job, and he couldn't come home. So the minute I figured out what it was, I said, this ain't happening. My kid is not going to be one of these kids. And I went and I got Andy by the ear, and we sat down, and I said, everything we do from this moment on, we will co-parent. Everything. If that kid wants to go to the bathroom, I'm going to talk to you about it, in front of him, whatever. And so we did. Everything was a joint decision, and we talked it back and forth, and then we decided that school year, Tucker had been expelled 13 times from school. At the beginning of the next school year, Tucker said to me, he said, I think I'm going to change my ways. He said, that getting in trouble all the time doesn't work too well. And he has never been expelled since, never been in trouble in school since, has completed a 360. That kid no longer has ODD. if he has it, it's buried somewhere deep inside, because you talk about a kid who did a complete turnaround. It's Tucker. And he turned himself totally, he just isn't the same child. He's respectful. He's all these things. Everybody loves him. His grades have come up. All these things at school have changed. And I mean, he's still a teenager, and we still go back and forth, and I'm still trying to raise the little turkey. But yeah, do I think we can change personality disorders and things like that? Yes, I do. They come from somewhere, just like narcissistic kids or narcissistic people. I've got a pretty good idea where that comes from too, and how. I don't know. That's a tough one to change. Anyway, I'll go into that on a different video. I love you guys, and for now, I just wanted to get that off my chest. I know that I have to go do some work on cows. See you later, alligator.